Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2022 because that's the first show of 2022. This is Mireille. I'm back on the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And I hope that this year is going to be amazing. Like, the year even better than 2021. We had an amazing season last year. And I'm really hoping to get, another amazing season today. So today we're going to South Africa, and we're going to talk about an amazing business. I think it's an amazing business, and you'll know why I'm saying that. It's called Blissful Farm, and we're gonna talk about this business, but reflect on what COVID have created for this business, how this business have been impacted, and how you know is going. We're seeing the owner is seeing it recover, and what are the need and challenges that she had to go through. So the she that I'm talking about, it is Zintle. Zintle, you probably seen her on Facebook talking about her business, the Blissful Farm, and she's a social entrepreneur, and you'll know a little bit about her. I'm just gonna introduce her. Just say a few words, and she have the opportunity to introduce herself. So she is sometimes called Coach Z, and she's the social entrepreneur. Like I said, she's a proud single mother of three, and she describes herself as the healer of different notes, and she will explain that later on. And she smooth hearts and mind, and she's an unconventional healer, and she's a certified NLP life coach and executive business development coach. And she's looking at healing one heart at a time, and we will hear about her. She will explain to us how she's planning to do it, and I hope you're gonna get some inspiration today again, and get to connect with her, and to see how you can in a way collaborate and help her to get to this mission and vision that she has. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring Zintle with me, but first we're gonna start with some music, and we will be back with Zintle and start an amazing conversation, an amazing greatness engineering hour. So don't go anywhere, and let's start the conversation. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Virai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Feel is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
We have facts and we have stories. And we can bring the facts alive by infusing them with our personal stories, with our examples, with our life experience. And that is why, as entrepreneurs, there's no two people doing the same thing. Because we come at it with different backgrounds, with different stories. And so if we want to become even more successful as an entrepreneur and step even more into our greatness, these stories that have made us who we are need to come into the facts that we present to the world.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
I would love to be recognized as somebody who has tremendously contributed to the effectiveness of the financial sector, especially in the investment world. I want to be able to be contributing, one of those guys that really are doing significant work to better the lives of people. I am not necessarily after money, because money is definitely a significant result of the work that I do. And because of that, it doesn't matter whether I go through ups and downs. I will keep my head above waters and keep my mind focused. Why? Because I got a goal and something that I really want to be able to.
So welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It's a pleasure to have you today and really start to talk about this amazing business that you are managing. Obviously, there have been a lot of challenges the last few years, but you're still here, and we really want to hear about, how it is going, what has been the challenges, and what are the opportunities, because I think those are the opportunities that we want to focus on. But before we get, to this point, I just want you to introduce yourself to the audience. Let us know who you are and what's really important to know about you and about your business, because that's what we're going to talk about today.
Good afternoon and good evening to you, obviously. Thank you so much for having me, Muriel. It's such a wonderful time to be with you. So as you said, I am Zintle Mnyaka, all the way from Eastern Cape. It's the Eastern Province in South Africa, from a little town called East London. And I run Blissful Farm. In most cases, I usually call myself the Chief Change Angel of Blissful Farm. I decided that, titles don't really work for me. I want something that's going to describe what I'm all about and what I want to achieve. And really what I would like to achieve is to help people shift. So hence I am now called the Chief Change Angel of Blissful Farm. As I heard you introducing me briefly, and my main interest is to heal people. It is an important factor to heal in order to be able to live a better life. Now, healing comes in different ways. I don't have medication to heal people, but I heal mind and hearts. So I am about engaging with people as a coach. I am an NLP coach, life coach, and I'm also a business executive management coach. So having been a business person for 24 years, believe it or not, I've been in business for 24 years, and wow. I have been through all the hurdles, whereby there's a lot of things that you experience in the business and all those things. And when I then thought, I can't take the stress, where do I go to do this? I had actually traveled to different countries to retreat. But then I imagined that there's a lot of other people that are going through the same stress that I'm going through. And that's how Blissful Farm really came about. It was to say, can we have the same places that I've been traveling around the world somewhere in my hometown and help other people to also heal? It took me years, and I'm still in a healing process. And so healing is an important thing, because the heart and mind, sometimes when they don't collaborate, we get to a stage that, you are stressed, your mental health becomes a problem. We get sick with different things because we just can't take care of ourselves. So through my coaching, I then obviously started calling myself, I didn't call myself, actually. Somebody said I was a a teacher. And I said, oh, really? I can't imagine myself standing in front of people and talking, and all those things. And he said, no, you're actually an unconventional teacher, because the conversation that I've had with you at this point in time made me to realize a lot of things, and you've educated me about things, that options of things that I could do in my life and all those things, even in my work. And you didn't actually realize that you were educating me, but that's what you were doing, because you're talking to me like a teacher. I said, oh, really? So that's, that whole unconventional teacher, that's how it came about. I mean, as a coach, obviously, there's a lot of teaching that you get to do somehow through the imparting of, the skills that they need to apply. But most so, I just, I'm here to help people walk the path of balancing their livelihoods. And so, yes.
So it looks like you basically, find something that you're really passionate about, and something that comes to you naturally through a challenge yourself. And as I was, mentioning at the beginning of the show, we're going through this big pandemic challenge. And as a businesswoman, but also as a teacher, but also as a healer, what has been, what have been your key challenges through this period? Because I can imagine that they've been challenging, but like I said, you're still standing. But what have been the challenges, and how did you address those challenges to be where you are right now? Obviously, it's not the perfect situation, but you are still, hopeful and going, with Blissful Farm.
So I'm going to tell you a short story about how Blissful Farm started and when it started. Believe it or not, we opened our doors officially where we are on the 1st of November, 2019. We had been going on in another farm, which was rented, and we needed our own so that we can be able to make the changes. Remember, when you're a tenant, there are certain things that you can't make in somebody's property. So we need our own property so that we can be able to make changes and have the things that we need. So we moved to this place where we are in Beacon Bay, the farm side of Beacon Bay, in 2019. And we opened to the public on the 1st of November, 2019. And we had a lot of bookings after our opening and all those things. And guess what? The first booking was on the day, 2 days after lockdown.
Oh,
so when I said the first booking, I mean the first retreat that we were meant to have, that is a booking from a client, was supposed to happen on the 28th of March in 2020. And we went on lockdown in South Africa on the 26th of March. So we obviously did a few things in between the 1st of November and the 26th of March. But most of our bookings were from the 28th of March moving forward. We had bookings, I think, until June, July. And all those, some of them were paid deposits and all those things. So we had to actually pay back people their money now, because, we didn't actually foresee this happening and all that. So COVID-19 really caught us off guard. We thought we had taken all the other precautions of running a business and all those things, but this particular one we were not ready for. So the focus, obviously, for Blissful Farm is retreats, right? It's wellness retreats. And for me, holistic wellness is about being able to make sure that we can then find a balance somehow for our lives and all that. So you need somebody to be here, body, mind, and soul, so that they can be able to then see themselves moving to the next step or stage of their lives. We stand on 3 pillars. I think that's where I perhaps need to start, so that you can then be able to follow the other things. We stand on 3 pillars as a business. We are about discovering. You need to discover yourself in order to be able to know how you're going to move to the next step of your life. So holistic wellness involves the fact that you need to do self-discovery. From discovery, you need to restore. So the things that we discover about our lives, about ourselves, about the challenges that we have, the states that we find find ourselves in, because when you get to a stuck state, you don't know what to do. And when you discover why you are in a stuck state, then it means that you need to be able to actually restore some of the things that you have then found out about your challenges in order for you to be able to transform. So you discover, you restore, and then you transform to who you are purposed to be. So in our business as a holistic wellness center, we strive to get people to be able to find and strike a balance around that. I'll talk about some of the things that we get to do, but when we talk balance, we're also talking about the 8 quadrants of your life, which is the wheel of life. You know, we talk spirituality, we talk family, we talk your health, we talk your finances, we obviously talk your business and your career, we talk your intellectual, which will be your mind, obviously, your social investment, and your rest. Those things are what makes us every day. These are the things that we need to make sure that we get to do in our lives, whether you do all 8 of them in one day, or whether you do a few of them in one day and then the other day you do others. But there's got to be a balance where you can be able to fit all of them in one day somehow. So for some of us, it had been a difficulty for me to be able to balance that. Having been a teen mom, you know, you are learning to be able to balance being at school, working, and having this little one and all those things. That can actually bring you to an imbalance of your mental state. You know, your mental state can really be challenged and all that. So Blissful Farm, in essence, is about that. It's about being, you know, away from the hustle and bustle of where you are working and where you're residing, and be in a place where you can find yourself so that you can be able to be there and show up for other people. Now, in us trying to show up for the people as a business and as a product, we thought, okay, we've got this and all that. COVID happened. We haven't necessarily recovered. Let me start there. But then we are on the journey of recovery. So we're probably on a restoration. We're on a restoration stage. 2022 actually is the year of restoration. Remembering that we are on those 3 pillars: discover, restore, and transform. We are now on restoration as Blissful Farm. You know, you've got to obviously evolve as a business. And so what we then tried to do was to say, we are about holistic wellness, and we wanted to focus on the health status of people and the balancing of their life, wheel of life. However, we've got this space and it can do other things. So we then now started doing external events. So now we host other things, because we've got a private restaurant that we would use when our clients are here. They would obviously need to eat. You've got to feed them. We need to feed them the healthiest meals, which, by the way, 70% of our vegetables come from our garden. So we are an agritourism business at the same time. We make sure that we have as fresh as possible of the food. So between giving the client healthy food, taking clients for nature walks, you know, going through yoga, mindful meditation. These are the things that we then put together. Soul talk, soul dance, you know, green conversations, things that would make people to then be able to get themselves back, you know, pull themselves towards themselves. And that's what we basically do. But now we have now kind of expanded. We're now accepting people who want to book for their own private events. But at the same time, I'm now holding space for other healers. So other people that want to host their own retreats, they are now welcome to book us for their own retreats. We'll just offer them the accommodation that we have. So we've got 2 types of accommodation. We've got a cottage, a farm cottage accommodation, which gives you a bit of your 5-star accommodation. However, we also have a camping site where we have introduced glamping, because people want a different experience. No one wants to leave their posh house and come to a farm and then stay in a place that looks like their own place where they're coming from. So we are now about experience. We've now gotten into the tourism side of the business, where we are not just offering health, a holistic health, or rather holistic wellness, but we're also offering an experience, which we call it the blissful experience, where you get out and experience what somebody who would have been in a retreat in a day or in a weekend. So those are the innovative things that we really have been doing to try and make sure that we can keep abreast. We host talks, whereby we then invite people to come, even though we're not allowed for quite a long time to host people, not more than 50 people, which we are happy, by the way, not to have more than 50 people, because we want this to be personal. We want this to be, as private as possible, so that you can then feel that you are taken care of, and we can take care of the things that you need us to pay attention to as a person.
So we have Liliane here.
Sorry,
she's tuning in from Switzerland, and she's asking a question. She's asking you, how does this retreat play out with the current COVID pandemic? Because obviously it's actually a timely service that you're offering because of what's happening, because people are stuck, people are, they need, to retreat, they need to think about, what's the next step for them, so retract and go inside. But at the same time, there are all those rules, that you need to follow because of COVID. So how do you, play out with all of that?
So if you remember, I then said that we had to be innovative. So we started daily experiences, because daily experiences afford us a time where we do not need to have people in the same space who they don't know each other and all those things. So we haven't had overnight retreats, because then that involves people who don't know each other in the same space, because you have to use the cottages and all that. So at the moment, we are mostly doing daily retreats where people arrive in the morning and they leave late afternoon, and we've been doing quite a lot of those. The only thing is that there are people who feel like they would want to have experienced the whole space, where they wake up from here, they do the walks again, and they do all the other different activities that we had, because it takes quite a bit for somebody to get used to what it is that they need to do as part of their shift, as part of their restoration, and as part of their transformation. So in a weekend, you are able to have somebody to have an experience of those three pillars. They get a glimpse of the three pillars. But in a one day, you really just, pass through that, which people always feel like, I want to come back, and I want to, I want to be able to spend the whole weekend and really not go back home after I've had the experience here and take it in. So for now, we are obviously unable, because we don't have enough accommodation. We started to build, by the way, I must actually tell her, we started building, but when we were starting to build, that's when we went them into the middle of COVID. And then a whole lot of things happened, because we were using our own funds from the company, to build. So now we ran out of funds to finish the building, where everybody would have their own building and their own space when they come for their retreat, because the cottage means that you've got to share. But with the new building that we had, everybody could have their own room, could have their own space, like, when they're here, because we're building 20 rooms actually. And the idea is to actually have small numbers of people at a time. So yes, that's what we're doing at the moment. We're doing things that would make sure that we are connected with nature. So our venues currently are venues that are outside, meaning that we can then keep the social distance as much as possible. So that's how we're managing at the moment.
Fantastic. So we're just going to have a break and have just a short video to see, what is like to be, in the Blissful Farm, and then we'll get back and continue this conversation to learn a little bit more about, what you're doing, and really focusing on the wellness and what's in the future for your wellness farm. So don't go anywhere. We'll come back in a few minutes.
Blissful greetings. I am Zintle Mnyaka, aka Coach Z, owner of Blissful Farm, a holistic wellness retreat sanctuary in East London, South Africa, healing hearts and minds. We at Blissful Farm would like to build spaces that impact people positively, discovering themselves into restoration, leading to their life transformation.
COVID-19 has affected the Blissful Farm's economic livelihood. Imagine keeping this place alive through your generous donations and investment to support the cause of a true green ecosystem.
This is a space where we're building a multi-purpose center and a restaurant overlooking the dam where all green conversations take place.
So here is where we would sleep up to 24 guests, overnight accommodation, and overlooking the beautiful valley.
Contact us to invest in a beautiful experience.
So we are back. We are back with Coach Z. And one question that I have, because you were saying that you were starting this second project to, upscale the farm. So what are your needs to be able to do it? Because taking into account what's going on with the pandemic and all the limitation that come with it. So what's really important for you now to have, and what the strategy to still have this going?
Thank you for asking that, because that's the biggest question around what we're trying to do right now. So Miral, at the moment, as I said, we started building. We need to finish the buildings. So finishing the buildings obviously need money. And if we are unable to bring in people as we had expected and hoped when we're doing our business plan, we should have started making money by the third year. And we are on our third year. This year we're going to be, in November, we'll be on our third year. So for us, we want to continue to impact people. We want to obviously change lives, obviously. But the only way that you can really is to be able to experience the whole Blissful Farm and what it was all about. So in order to keep with the requirements and protocols of COVID-19, we obviously need to build rooms where people, if they don't know each other, they do not have to share. So what it means is that should COVID continue for a little bit longer, we're then going to have those rooms, which, by the way, those were my kids. All those children that were actually speaking on that video, they are my children. And so, as they said, it's a 24 sleeper. So we want to be able to have maximum of 24 people and keep it that small. But then it means that people should be able to have their own room, so that should anybody be experiencing or suffering from an ailment that we don't know, we are able to then quarantine them or put them in their own room without having to give that to other people. So the ultimate is that we need investment. We need the type of investment that is not going to put us under pressure like it has been now, because we now obviously would have had to take loans because the business now is not necessarily running the way that we had hoped it would because of COVID. For almost a year, we were closed. And when we reopened, I must say we were received quite well. And but people want to really experience what we are about. So when they come here, they spend the whole day. I mean, it's so amazing. When people drive in here, they said, I could feel the bliss by just driving through the place before I could come and meet you or come and be part of the activities that are here. So what we really need is an investor that understands what holistic wellness is, who understand what it is to help people to heal, who understand what it is to teach people about different ways of being able to balance their lives. That's basically it. We really just need an investor that's going to help us finish our buildings.
But I think sometimes we so stuck in looking at what I call generic investment. Did you look at different option, which is looking at locally, who can, maybe it can be a group of people who can who are interested by, who are passionate about wellness, who can come. It might not be a big investor, but it can be just one good group of people putting things together and helping you, or looking at different things. Right now there's the fintech things coming in, the crowdfunding, and so how have you looked at those different options, or are you just looking at a big investor, one or two big investor that who are going to come and say, okay, we are there? Because I think sometimes it can limit you, because they're really, for an investment that is so important, you will have to demonstrate to them what they gain in return, what is the return in an investment, and it must not be easy. I don't know what you think about it.
So yes, the reason why we actually put together the video clip that you played just now was because we realized that it's a bit limiting for us to be focusing on investor as in a big business investor. Because there is ways that we had come up with, believe it or not, when we came up with that video clip, it was just beginning of the year when my kids said, okay, fine, how about we actually get out there and put yourself out there and just retire from being scared of putting yourself out there and be vulnerable. I mean, I teach other people not to, to be vulnerable to other people or into situations so that they can be able to heal. I was not able to be vulnerable until my kids said, we can put together a video, and there are people who might be interested, in helping you, but you just don't know about them and all that. Hence, we put together that video, because now we're saying there's different other things that we can then start tapping on, where you'd have different groups. So we are really looking at such things. We are actually putting together a retreat for people who are in the same business as us, where we can then see how they can also come and participate in that investment and all those things. Crowdfunding is something else that we're also going to be looking at, and just appealing to different people that understand what holistic wellness is. Because what the other thing is that you are right, a big business might actually be looking at the bottom line and the ROIs, how are we going to be able to make sure that we give them, the return of investment in a certain time and all those things. In a business like this, it is not about the bottom line. Yes, exactly. We need to be profitable. We need to self-sustain the space to be able to heal more people. But for me, it is a spiritual thing. So it is not money first. It is about being able to help other people to be able to go and help others, right? So we are looking now, that is the reason why we're now looking for people who would understand what we're about and what we're trying to achieve, which will then make us to be able to then share the space with people from all over the world.
So what do you think is your competitive advantage? Because as you can see, there's a lot going on in the wellness industry, in your industry. So what do you think is the competitive advantage, and something that will, really attract an investor and say, okay, I'm going to invest in this, and not invest in this other wellness business? What do you think is what it is for Blissful Farm?
All right, so thank you for that, Muriel, because I was actually thinking that I need to then even let out there to people that besides focusing on the wellness, I think I did mention that we're an agritourism business. So what it means is that there's an element of our business that that is agriculture. There's an element of our business that is tourism. Obviously, if you're in a farm, you're bound to involve yourselves in the activities of, tilting the soil and making sure that you grow things that can feed people. But at the same time, if you speak about tourism is very broad. It's about experiences. It's about, so if somebody does not want to really enter into our programs, the retreatings and all that, there's so many other activities that people can do. We do team building, for instance, executive team buildings. We do school management team buildings. We do, we even had church ladies that came and, who were here. So what it means, we are appealing to different markets, and we are able to appeal to this market in big numbers, but we are not really looking at big numbers at this point in time. So the space that we are in allows us to do other things, right? So what it would mean then is that between the fact that we have a private restaurant currently that only can seat 24 people, by the way, inside, but we've got the whole grounds where we've got a lawn. We've got what we call the pergola lawn, for instance. We've got different other spaces. We've got a spa, a wellness spa. But everything that is here is according to what we could do as Blissful Farm and how we saw fit for what we had. The whole idea where they say use what you have to move to your next step. I have been applying that. That's what we've been applying. So we've been using what we have. We have a spa, which was a dilapidated building. Then we turned it into a two-room treatment center. We've got a juice spa. We've got a nail bar and all those things to try and say, let's do other things to income generate. So there is multiple income generating activities that exist at Blissful Farm. So somebody who comes and says, okay, I have something else different that I was thinking about, including that maybe the restaurant and venue that you saw where Mnyaka said we are going to be building a multi-purpose center and a restaurant to have the green conversations. That's very broad. So it could be a restaurant that is just offering services to people who want to come and just dine. I love dining and I love good food. I mean, we actually serve gourmet food as much as we can at Blissful Farm. And that whole thing is about it. It's an experience on its own. So we're open to somebody who says, I just want to build this restaurant and be part of that, and we can profit share, for instance. So those are the alternatives and options that we have. Somebody else might have a product or might have a brand of spas, who says, I'd like to bring a spa, this brand of spas in East London or in South Africa, and we can partner with you. We'll build this wellness spa and we can get into partnership with you and you can have a share of it. One thing that is important is that we want to be able to be part of the business. So it's not a matter of somebody coming and saying, I'll build my own thing and I'll run and I'll pay you rent. No, we don't want that. We want somebody to come and grow with us, because eventually, should they want to leave, we should be able to run that business as they were. So we're going to get involved in whatever that somebody else comes and says, I have this brand, it talks to what you're doing, and I'd like to put it in your space. How can we actually partner in that? So we're open for partnerships in the accommodation industry, so that will be your hospitality side, in the restauranting, in the spa business, because those are our three core businesses that have been actually running even during COVID, when we opened and went to level 2.
So there are a few comments again from Liliane here. So
Hi,
that's about the investors, and she said you never know where an investor come from. However, it looks like still in it that your project is still very infant stage, and you may want to show how far you've gone. So that's one, one comment that she has. And the other part is that, South Africa already have so many such projects and facilities. And that's the question I had, is that, the competition is so fierce. What is, what is your competitive advantage? And that's exactly what she's asking, is that how does Blissful Farm stand up from others? Because at the end of the day, it can just be a repetition of, what already exists. And then we know that, from I've lived in South Africa, and you have some massive, facilities where you have all those spa, and so that's really, and then restaurant, everything that you've just talked about. So it's just, how do you positioning yourself to really get, not only be investor ready, but also, attract the right clients that's actually going to help you to go to the next level. And I think that's still the big question at this stage, that, Lillian is asking, but I'm asking as well, because we know that those facilities exist in South Africa. So how do you see, yourself competing in that type of environment? Or are you just telling yourself, I do my own thing and I see, how it's going to go? Or are you looking at what's going on, and how can I be different and attract, the people, the clients?
All right. Yes, competitive advantage and where we are. Yes. So our competitive advantage is that you're right, there is a lot of wellness centers in South Africa. However, we are in East London, and at the moment, with the type of services that we offer, we are actually the only ones, and I'm proud to say that, at the moment, that offer all these different services where wellness is concerned in East London. We have different activities that people are always looking for. So the activities, our competitive advantage is within the activities that we have. They speak to different people within, whether you are just a normal employee or whether you're an employer. So between an employee and an employer, we actually try and bridge the gap. So that is first our competitive advantage. Another thing is that we are helping people to get back to their roots. So we are very personal about the service. So it's all in the service and the programs that we are offering at Blissful Farm. There are different ways of wellness. Ours speaks to the heart and the mind, and that's our focus. And that's where most people are actually experiencing a discord, is the mental health. So we've got different people that we deal with. We've got psychologists, we've got homeopaths that we deal with. So remember I said, we're trying to strive to do alternative healing. There aren't so many places that are wellness centers that are offering alternative healing and alternative wellness. So that is our competitive advantage. The other things are just the enablers. So the restaurant, the spa, and the accommodation are the enablers to be able to bring the people down here. So if I have you from Australia and you want to be able to experience being in a farm and being involved, with our garden as part of relaxation, by the way. And it's very important to touch the soil and be involved in order to relax. We've got 2 dams where you can actually go and do some fishing, right? And that's part of trying to help people to be able to teach them patience. So we've got different activities within the space that helps people to really learn or unlearn certain things within their wheel of life. Remember, I spoke about balancing the wheel of life. So the competitive edge with us is that we try and help balance your wheel of life, the mental state and the emotion state, the heart. If you remember, I said I'm a healer of, heart and mind, and that's what we focus on. So there aren't so many of those that focus on that. And we are in East London. So another competitive edge is that East London has all modes of transport, so people can get here. And two, we've got golf courses around us. So what it means is that when you come here, there's other activities that you can do outside Blissful Farm. But when you need an unmatched relaxation spot, we think that we have got that edge because we offer you a full bouquet of being able to balance your wheel of life.
Fantastic.
So that is the competitive edge.
So we're going to have a break and we'll come back to, because we're getting close to the end. Can you imagine? Well, it's been really a very interesting, conversation about the Blissful Farm. So we will have another break and we'll be back with Zintle to finish, the episode of this Greatness Engineering Hour. So don't go anywhere.
Already finished. Oh wow! Time flies. Thank you.
we still have 10 minutes, but we're just gonna have a break and then we'll be back just for you to wrap it up and then to let us know what's next for Blissful Farm. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. So we are back with Zintle for the last part of the show. And one thing that I want to ask you, Zintle, is, at the end of the day, you've described to us, how you started with Blissful, what you're doing, the competitive advantage. How do you see, the Blissful Farm coming up in the future? What is really the legacy that you want to leave using, the Blissful Farm as, as really your tool and all the strategies to be able to get to this legacy?
Wow, legacy is quite important for me because I am not just doing, I didn't start Blissful Farm because I just wanted to make money, as I said. So it is about teaching other people beyond us healing other people. It is to teach other people to be able to do the same thing. It is about making sure that you would have changed somebody's life in whatever manner that you would have within the 3 pillars of what the business is about. Remember, we said we help you discover, we help you restore, and then we help you to transform. So we all have a purpose on earth. And what I'm hoping to do is that the legacy will be that I was able to help different people to really live in their purpose. Mm-hmm. And also within living with their purpose and change other people's lives in the process. So the brand Blissful Farm for me within the holistic wellness space is that the legacy should be we had been able to change lives. Like I said, we're changing lives one heart at a time. And for me, that's the legacy that I'd like to leave. I would like to be known as somebody who impacted people positively and who helped people to actually transform to their next stage of their lives.
And that's a powerful thing because, sometimes when we talk about business, some people look at business more about, making money or just something that's going to be beneficial for themselves. and not really looking at how it's going to serve others. And the fact that you're saying that, you've put it to help people, to heal people, and to make sure that you change their life for the best. It's really an amazing legacy that I think we carry, and that's probably why, despite all the disturbance of the pandemic, that you're still here, because this legacy is really powerful. So before we leave, let us know, what are the call for action that you have for those who are listening, and also let us know how they can connect with you, they can engage with you if they're interested to know more about your project, even become an investor, because you never know at this stage.
Yeah. Okay, so at this point in time, we would like people to be able to come and experience Blissful Farm. They can find us on all the different social medias, so that they can see what we're all about. However, when you're here, that is the time when you are able to say, this is what it is, the business is all about. For us, we would like people to get in touch with us through our website, through our email, which I think you did list on the ad, that we are able to engage with people via email in order to be able to answer their questions and in order for them to be able to know what it is that we are doing. What is also very important for us is for people to understand that we are about making sure that you can leave the next stage of your life, and you can go back to your roots. So going back to your roots for us is that you are able to still be in business, make money, but at the same time, work with someone and take them to the next level, like I said. But the most important thing is that we would like to affect more people. And affecting more people means that we need to be able to finish what we started, that's being the buildings. And like I also said earlier, those who then do see the inspiration, who have always wanted to be in the business, then are thinking that, maybe with whatever that I wanted to invest in, I can then maybe invest, in this business. There's a lot of options. Donations are welcome. Even donations in kind, for that matter. So if people maybe think, okay, fine, we've got material that's sitting and all that, perhaps maybe let's donate some material to finish the building. We are open to a lot of activities of how people can assist to see the place going. When we started Blissful Farm, we actually started with something where we were saying, how about you invest into your retreat before you come here? So even if you want to actually have your retreat maybe in 2024, pay for your retreat now, because you're then going to get a discount. And that way we probably would be able to generate enough money to continue and finish what we started, and to have that experience being authentic as possible. Because right now, like I said, we can't take more than 8 people in the cottage, for instance. So it means that we only do small groups. But then you get companies whereby they want to bring maybe 24 of their people. We've been having that. Actually, there's a group that there were 66. They had to actually cut themselves into smaller groups so that they can come and have this experience. So what I'm saying is that there is, for those who are seeing this as a business, there is a way of making money. But at the same time, you need to first say, where's your heart? Because if your heart is not in it, don't even call us, because we want people whose hearts are in the business.
So make sure you connect. Go ahead, Zintle.
No, sis, you can go ahead, sis. I just wanted to just say that that's basically what we would like to do. We would like to continue healing one heart at a time. We would like to be able to continue with this journey of healing people and all that. But how people get involved is that they could contact us through the emails and we can chat about it. But it is important for you to be really, really in the space of saying you understand what we are about, that we are about the people before the money.
Fantastic. So Blissful Farm is all about the people before money. They are healing one heart at a time. So make sure you connect with Zintle. She can be, she's on all the social media and she can give you more information. I'll get, information from her, specific information. I will post it on the comments. And if you really want to have, a call or something, a personal conversation with her, I will refer you to her, or you can connect directly to her, letting her know that you connected through my show, and she will be glad to connect with you. So that's all for today. It has been a very interesting conversation, a great conversation to know what's going on the other part of the world, and really understand that they're still, in this very, disturbed, I would say, world. There's still, places where you can have peace, places where you can heal your hearts, places where you can heal your minds, and places where you can restore yourself and transform yourself to become a better person and help humanity to win. So that's, I think, is the mission of Blissful Farm. Really make sure that people transform themselves and they really want to change your life. So make sure you connect, make sure you understand what they do, and if you can, have the experience yourself, as Zintle was saying, don't hesitate. I know there's a lot of restriction, but there's, where there's a will, you can always make it. So don't hesitate and go for it. So any, last word that you want to leave the audience with before we close out for this hour of greatness?
All I'd like to say is that people should just remember that they are mandated, for such a time like this. So they need to be able to live their lives in ways that they're in harmony with their mind and their heart. And when you've got harmony with your mind and heart, there is a lot of things that you then are able to achieve. I'd like for everybody to grow in strength and affect others positively. And that's what Blissful Farm is all about. You can find us on Green Desk at blissfulfarm.co.za.
Fantastic. Well done. And it's been very inspiring. And I know there's a lot more inspiration to come if you get the experience at the Blissful Farm. So like I said, give it a go, learn more, and if you have the opportunity, go there and experience it yourself. And you make sure, we'll make sure, and Zintle will make sure that you come transform and really ready to continue to live in this, what we call this very volatile world that we are in, and get ready for anything that can happen in the future. So that's all for today. It has been a pleasure to have you, Zintle, and to learn more about your work and how you transform hearts and minds. And I hope that the audience have been very inspired as I was today. And I thank you for your inspiration, and I thank you for your time, and really bringing this positivity and this openness to us, and make sure we understand the purpose of a Blissful Farm, and understand that you are for people to become the best version of themselves. And that's what this show is all about. So thank you very much. And so have a great day. And obviously we stay connected. For those who have had the opportunity to watch today, thank you, Liliane, for always being there. And indeed, we are in a changing world, and we need to get ready. And it starts with getting ready. It starts with ourselves, getting ready ourselves, and then we can help others. So thank you so much, Liliane. Have a great day. and I will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. Probably, I think next week only, and I'll get to let you know who's going to be my next guest by then. So thank you very much. Take care.
Blissfulness all the way. Blissfulness all the way. Thank you, sister.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.